So I just started recording our screen sharing so that you can use the same for future reference. So before we start for the day, I just walk through the topics which we discussed in day one. So we discussed about the Excel interface and the best practices that we follow in Excel, that is how to enter something into a cell and then how to edit something into a cell and then how to ignore the changes that we make into a particular cell. And then we discussed about naming a range and then naming a cell and how to use the same when you work with the Excel functions. And then we discussed about the different scenarios which we can perform on a worksheets. So worksheets in the sense, so this is the worksheets. So we discussed about how many worksheets can be added. It is 255 worksheets can be added for a particular workbook. We discussed, and then how to change the color of a worksheet and how to edit the name and how to delete the worksheet and then how to move or copy a particular worksheet into some other worksheet or within a workbook into some other location, and then how to protect a worksheet and how to protect a particular range alone. And we discussed about how to protect a workbook and then how to share a workbook and how to track the changes that we perform on a workbook. Then we discussed about how to work with the quick access toolbar. It is a shortcut we can assign to a particular commands, and how to customize the same we discussed, and we discussed about a backstage view, and finally we discussed about how to customize a ribbon, how to create your own ribbon with the command set and the commands of your choice. So these are all the topics which we discussed in session 1. I hope everyone gone through this particular topics online. You can see some exercise files as well as reference videos as well. So I just gone through that particular links in session 1, and also I shared this particular workbook. I hope you could have received this particular workbook from Manipal LT. And this is what planned for a day 1, and this is what planned for a day 2. So arithmetic operators, comparison operators, text concatenation, and then mathematical functions. So these are all the topics it is planned for today. So I'll just navigate to our overview sheet here. So session 2. So we are going to start with the cell reference. There are 3 different kinds of cell reference available in Excel. So we are going to discuss the same, something called as a relative, absolute, and a mixed reference. And then we are going to start with different kind of operators available. So starting with arithmetic operator and then comparison operator and then text concatenation or a text operator, and finally mathematical operator or a mathematical functions. So these are all the 5 different topics that is planned for today. So I hope everyone is clear about the day 1 topics. So other than Saurav, anyone confirm that you can able to see my screen and you can able to hear my voice clearly, so that everybody is on the same page, we can proceed further. So other than Saurav, any other, please confirm. Confirm in a chat window. Okay, thanks for your confirmation. Sudeep, your question here. So you mean to say that you have not received this particular workbook which we use it in this particular training. So I request team to share the same to all today. And recording link is now working. So I hope recording link can't be generated right away. It will take some time. So I hope you could have received the recording link in the middle of a week or something. Yes, am I right, Sudeep? You could have received the recording link. You could have received the recording link. This particular workbook. Okay, link is not working. Not an issue, Sudeep. No problem. So I will check with the team and we will share you the the exact link to you. Not an issue. So we will help you in this case. So even if you are not receiving any workbook for a particular week, so don't worry about it, because I will tell you how we are working here. If you look at this particular first worksheet, you can see what is the planner. So what is the complete planner? So give me a minute. Give me a minute. I will come back. Give me a minute. Hello. Yeah, I just come back. So this is the planner. This is the complete planner for our 7-day training. So what I'm going to do here, so we are going to use Excel 2010 only for all the training. So all the seven days we are going to use only Excel 2010, as well as I am going to use only one workbook. I repeat, I am going to use only one workbook. You can see the overview here. So based on an overview, I am keep adding a worksheets. Keep adding a worksheets here. So far we discussed. So whatever the topics you discussed in a day one, I just hide it. You can see all the worksheets that are all related to the previous training will be in a hide state in my particular workbook. If you just unhide and you can refer to it. So at the end of this particular training, I'm going to share this particular workbook. If you receive the workbook, you can see that all the scenarios of day one as well as day two will be covered in the same workbook only. If you look at my worksheets, you can see all the worksheets keep adding. So it means that I am adding the complete scenarios workbook in a one workbook only. All the scenarios will be in a one workbook only. At the end of each training, I will hide the previous classes worksheets and then I will send you only the current session worksheet. For your reference, you can refer to it. If you want to refer to the previous worksheets, you can unhide and then you can refer to it. So this way you won't miss any topics. So whenever I send a new workbook, just refer to the new workbook. You can see everything will be there in a single workbook only. So I'm going to share this particular workbook today at the end of a session. So I will request team to share this particular workbook as soon as possible so that you can have it for a reference so that we can give a try offline. So I hope this will help you. It will be clear to all. So let's start with the new topic today, something called as cell referencing. I'll just hide it because we covered in a last class. So we are going to discuss the new topic today, something called as referencing. 3 types of referencing is available in Excel. So one is relative referencing and the next one is absolute referencing and the last one is mixed referencing. So I will tell you each referencing through one example here. So the first one is going to be the relative referencing. So what is relative referencing? We'll solve the scenario. So once we get the output, we will discuss why we have to go for a relative referencing and what is the use of it. So if you look at this particular table, 4 columns are available. So one is a employee name, and the next one is a hours worked, and the third one is rate per hour, and the last one is salary. You can see here, for each employee, hours worked and rate per hour are given here, and we are asked to calculate what is the salary. I repeat, hours worked and rate per hour are given here. We are asked to calculate what is the salary. So how to calculate a salary? You can look at the formula here. Hours worked multiplied with rate per hour. Salary is equal to hours worked multiplied with rate per hour. So we know that we have to multiply hours worked with the rate per hour. So that is going to be the formula here. Calculate a salary equal to, you can type 6 multiplied with 1000. You will get a corresponding output. If you want to calculate for a second employee, again you have to multiply 5 with the 2000. So here it is just a 5 cells in a range, so it is easy to calculate. But say for example, you are asked to calculate a salary for a more than 1000 rows of a data. So that time it is not easier to calculate by hard coding the hours worked and the rate per hour. So how to solve this particular case? So in this case, equal to, you can just click on a corresponding cell. Just click on a corresponding cell. You can see that 6 is going to be the cell value. But what happens here? C12 is mapped here. It is called as a cell referencing. Instead of providing the cell value, we are providing the address of a particular cell. Instead of getting the cell value, we are providing the address of a particular cell. So this is called as cell referencing. Refer a cell address of one cell into some other cell. So this is called as a referencing in a Excel. Fine. So we are done with hours worked. Multiplied with rate per hour. Just select a rate per hour. You can use a mouse over to select, or you can use a keyboard key. Any arrow keys you can use. Right arrow, left arrow, up arrow, and a down arrow. So I will tell that also. So just I use the mouse over to select. So here you can see that we just multiplied hours worked with the rate per hour only, but not with the actual values. We done with the calling the address. We refer just the address of a particular cell. How to come out of a cell? Press tab to come out of a cell. So if I press F2, you can see that blue color cell referencing is for hours worked, and green color cell referencing is for a rate per hour. Press tab to come out of a cell. So you can see that the actual salary is calculated, but we never given any cell static values. We given only the reference of a particular cell. And how to copy the same formula to the remaining cells in a range? You can see the note here, copy to remaining cell. Select on a cell where your formula is available. Select on a cell. Done. Use shift plus down arrow to select a range. Shift plus down arrow. It will select only once. Keep pressing a down arrow till end of your range. So we are done with shift plus keep pressing a down arrow to select the entire range. And the last step is use Ctrl plus D to copy the formula towards the down with formatting. So you'll come to know what is with formatting and without formatting when you discuss the more scenarios. So Ctrl D you can see now, the moment when I press Control D, all the formulas from this particular cell is copied to the remaining cell as well. Press F2 and see whether the corresponding cell reference is selected or not. Yes, it is correct. Selected, correct. Check for some other cell. Press F2 and go inside a cell and check for some other cell. You can see that here also the cell referencing is selected, correct. So if you note, if you check here for a first cell, you can see 12th row is selected. For a second one, 13th row is selected. 14th row, 15th row, 16th row. It means that when I copy paste this particular cell reference to some other location, the reference is keep changing. The reference is keep changing. You can see here, reference will keep changing. So this kind of cell referencing is called as relative referencing in Excel. When you use the particular reference in some other location, if the reference keeps changing, that kind of referencing is called as relative referencing. So I hope everyone is clear about what is relative referencing here. So please let me know if you have any doubts, or we can proceed to the next set of referencing. To be on the same page, like whenever I ask for whether you are clear about any of the scenarios, please type yes in a chat window so that everybody is on the same page, so that we can go to proceed to the next scenario. So we'll have this particular practice for the next 5 more sessions as well, because since we are meeting virtually, so we just wanted to confirm now and then we are on the same page or we are missing anything. So answering to your question, Sudip, Control D is for copying the formula. Yes, it is copying not only to the formula, whatever the content that is available in a previous cell, that will be copied below with the formatting. If you have done any cell formatting, also that also will be captured. That also will be captured. It is not only to copy the formula, it will copy whatever that is available in a one cell and paste it to the below cell in a range, whatever it is selected. So we are going to a next set of referencing, something called as absolute referencing. Next set of referencing called as absolute referencing. So again, here also we are going to calculate only the salary, but the difference between the first table and this particular table, you can look, the rate per hour is different for each employee in a table 1. But here the rate per hour is going to be same for all the employees. Other than that, everything is similar. I repeat, the rate per hour for each employee in this particular table, absolute reference table, is going to be same, but in a relative reference, the rate per hour is different for each employee. So that is the difference. How to calculate a salary here? We have to multiply 6 with 1,000 for a first employee. For a second employee, we have to multiply 5 with 1,000. For a third employee, 6 with 1,000. So how to do the same? Hours worked. C23, use up arrow to select the rate per hour. Press tab to come out of a cell. You can see that for a first employee, the salary calculated is correct. Control D to copy paste the formula towards the down. If I press F2, you can see here for a second employee, you can see here instead of 1,000, it selected D21 because we discussed about a relative reference that cell referencing will keep changing, when you copy paste the formula towards a down. Similarly, look at for a third employee, again one cell down it came. For a next employee, again one step down. For last employee, again one step down. So it means that hours worked are selected correct with the concept of relative reference. But the rate per hour is not selected correct because it keeps changing. So it should not keep change. It should be constant, because wherever I use the same formula, the rate per hour is going to be same all the time. So what is the change required here? We have to fix this particular reference. If I fix the particular reference, wherever I copy paste the same, I should not see that D20 should not get D21 or D22 or D23. It should be constant all the time. We have to fix it. How to fix it? We have to insert a dollar symbol here. How to insert a dollar symbol? Use F4 to insert a dollar symbol. I just pressed F4 in a system. I repeat, I just pressed F4 in a system. You can see that $2 symbols are inserted. You can see that $2 symbols are inserted for one is for a column and one is for a row. You can see that $2 symbol are inserted. One is for a column and then one is for a row. Now press tab to come out of a cell. The reason why we inserted a dollar symbol here, we are going to fix this particular cell referencing so that it won't get changed. Now copy paste this particular formula towards a down. Press F2. You can see that for a second employee also the rate per hour is selected correct only, and for a third employee also it is selected correct only. Similarly, for a remaining employees it is selected correct only. It means that we are fixing the cell reference. Reference will be fixed, or reference will be fixed, or you can call it as reference. We are making it as a absolute, fixed or a absolute. So this kind of referencing is called as a absolute reference. So difference between a relative reference and a absolute reference is that relative referencing will keep changing. We are not fixing anything. But in absolute reference, we are fixing one reference so that it will be constant all the time. If you note here, this is one cell reference. D20 is one cell reference and C23 is a different cell reference. Out of these two cell reference, we fixed only one cell reference here. We never fixed both the cell reference. So that is the understanding here. I hope everyone is clear about the concept of absolute referencing. So please confirm in a chat window if you understood the concept of absolute reference. So then we are going to a next and last kind of a cell reference, something called as mixed reference. So what is mixed reference all about? Fix either row or a column in one cell reference. So that is going to be the hint here. Fix either a row or a column in a one cell reference. In earlier two scenarios, we can note we just fixed both row 20 and column D as well. We fixed both row and column. But in this particular mixed reference, we are going to fix only either a row or a column only. So here you can see what is the difference between the previous two tables with this particular table. The hours worked are going to be the same structure. Each employee will be given a different hours worked. But the rate per hour, but you can see the rates per hour is different for each employee, as well as multiple rates per hour are provided here. Multiple rates per hour are provided here. So that is the difference. First, we have to provide the cell reference of hours worked. If I come down and go up, you can see that C keeps constant only all the time. It means that column remains a constant all the time. Column remains a constant all the time. Only the row keeps on changing. So what we are going to do here, we will fix only the column. Press F4. The moment when I press F4 for one time, you can see that dollar symbols are added for both column and rows. If I press F4 again, you can see that dollar symbol is inserted only for a row. Again, if I press F4, you can see that dollar symbol are inserted only to a column. Right, here we are going to fix only the column. Reason, when I copy paste, when I move up or down here, in this case, I can able to see that only the rows keeps on changing. Column remains a constant. So we fix only the column. Multiplied with rate per hour. If I navigate between each rate, different rate per hour, you can see that 34 remains constant. Only the column. D become E and E become F and F become G and goes on. So in this case, we will fix only the constant value, that is 34 row. Again F4, you can see that dollar symbol is inserted only to the row. Now press tab. Select the entire range. So as of now, we know that if we use a Control D, formula or a content that is available in a one cell, that will be copied to the cells below. And again, Control R is the new shortcut here to copy paste towards the right. So earlier we discussed about how to use the Control D, and the new learning here is going to be Control R to copy paste the content towards the right. So now come to any of the cell, press F2 and check whether for a correct employee the hours worked are correct, as well as the rate per hour selected are correct. And check for one more employee here. Yes, so it is correct selected, the correct hours worked and the correct rate per hour. So this way we can able to cross check whether it is selected correct or not. So now if you read this, you will understand. Fix either a row or a column in one cell reference. So in this particular case, in one cell reference, we fix only row, and the next cell reference, we fix only the column. So this is the concept of mixed reference. So if you understand this particular three kind of referencing, and majorly the first two. So mixed referencing, it is just for our understanding, we discussed here. So absolute referencing and relative referencing gains more importance when we work with Excel formulas and the Excel functions. So relative reference, we are not fixing any reference here. Reference will keep changing all the time. And in absolute reference, reference will be fixed. reference will be fixed. So wherever you copy paste this particular reference, it won't get changed. So that is the understanding of the first two kind of a cell referencing. So I hope everyone understood these three different kinds of a cell referencing. So we are going to focus on the first two type of cell referencing. And I am reading some queries here. How to fix a row and a column? So to fix it, you have to press F4. I told for a particular cell reference, I just repeat. So it will be the normal case without fixing. To fix a row and a column, you have to press F4 only once. Press F4. You can see the shortcut. The hint is given here. Use F4 to insert a dollar symbol. Why we have to insert a dollar symbol? To fix a cell reference. Use F4. Press F4. You can see that dollar symbol will be inserted. I hope Saurav, I answered to your question. Please confirm it in a chat window so that we can proceed further. Thank you. Sudeep, F4 will work with Excel 2010 as well as in a 2007 version as well. So it is a common keyboard shortcut to insert a dollar symbol to fix a cell. It will work fine in any version of Excel. And one more hint here. So any version you can use in a Excel, whether it is a 2007 or a 2010 or a 13 or a 16, whatever the version it is, only the GUI get differs all the time. The graphical user interface will get differ all the time, not the functionalities. Only very minimal functionalities will keep change, because whenever they create a new version, they will try to add some new features, but functionality wise everything is going to be the same. Only the UI will get differ in a different version of the Excel, and very few functionalities will get added. But if you go for a 2010, it is a very common version. The concept of slicer is very important, so that is not available in a 2007 version. So that is available in a 2010. So this is the little difference we can see it in each version. So other than that, all the versions are going to be same. So we are done with the concept of a cell referencing. So we are going to the next topic here, something called as arithmetic operators. So you can see here what are all the different kinds of arithmetic operators available in Excel. So starting with a sum, subtract, multiply, divide, and then exponential. So these are all the operators. We are going to see a set of scenarios for each operators here. So we are going to use this particular table. So we are going to use this particular table only. And we are going to calculate what is the sum. Equal to number 1, cell reference. Operator is going to be addition. It is for a sum. And then number 2, cell reference. Press tab to come out of a cell. So we got output as a 20. Fine. If I use the same cell reference, I just press Ctrl D. Press F2. You can see that 10 add with the text. So it is not possible. It is not possible because we tried adding a 10 with the text. So it throws a error message stating as value error. So if you want to understand what is this error all about, you can click on a help on this particular error. So you can see it in a help window. So what is going to be the error? There is something wrong with the way your formula is typed, or something wrong with the cells you are referencing. So it means that we are asked to check for whether the formula is correct or the cell referencing is correct. See, we are trying to use what? The plus operator. So plus operator is applicable only to the numbers. It is not applicable to the text. So when we tried adding with the text, it is throwing you a error message. Similarly, if we try to calculate for a 10 with some symbols or some other alphanumeric characters in the Excel, what happens? It will throw a error message only, because it is not possible to do a summation for a alphanumeric characters or a text. Again, we'll try to do it for a text, sum with a text. So it is not possible, because it is applicable only for a number. So this way you can understand how effectively we can use the arithmetic operator, something called as a sum. And similarly, the next operator is going to be the subtract operator. Number 1 subtract with the number 2, you will get the value as 5 here. Similarly, number 1 subtract with the number 2, you can see that minus 5, because 5 minus 10 is going to be the minus 5 value. So whatever you do it on a paper, the same kind of output we can get here. And number 1 is 10 and the number 2 is going to be the text. So here also it is not possible, because subtract operator is also applicable only to a number, not to the text or alphanumeric characters. So you will be getting a same kind of error message. So whenever you see an error message, Excel will throw you what is the error and how to get it resolved with the help on this particular error. Similarly, the next kind of operator is going to be multiply operator. Number 1 multiplied with. So here in this particular Excel, when you work with the system, multiply we have to use star. We should not use a cross alphabet or a X alphabet. We should use star to multiply. And then the second number, press tab. You can see 100 is going to be the output. Similarly, if we calculate for a second, 10 multiplied with minus 10, as we know that it is going to be the 100 with a minus symbol into it. And when you try to multiply 10 with any alphanumeric or a special characters, you can see that it will throw you a value error. And the next set of operator is called as divide. Number 1 divided by number 2. You will get 10 divided by 5 as 2. When you try to divide, 10 by a text, you will get a value as a error message, because 10 divided by text, it is not possible. And the next set of scenario here, 10 divided by 0. So if you divide anything by 0, it means that it becomes a infinity. So infinity is not possible, because we cannot calculate that particular output. So Excel will throw you Excel will throw you a different set of error message, something called as divisible by 0. If you click on a help on this particular error, you can see what is the error all about. How to correct a divisible by 0 error. Microsoft Excel shows divisible by 0 error when a number is divided by a 0. It happens when you enter a simple formula like 5 divided by 0, or when a formula refers to a cell that has a 0 or is a blank. Right? So you can see that if you try to divide by a blank or a 0, it will throw you divisible by 0 as a error message all the time. Say for example, we'll try to divide number 1 and number 2 as a empty. You can get divisible by 0 as a output. Again F2 and look and see. You cannot divide any number by a 0 or a empty value. You will get only the error message all the time. And the last set of operator here is going to be the exponential. So we discussed something about a power. Cap is going to be the symbol here. We use it for a exponential. So when we do it mathematically, 2 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4. 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. 4 times you have to multiply the number 2. 2 to the power of 4. So you will get what is the 2 to the power of 4 value here. So we are going to use the operator something called as a exponential. 2 to the power of 4, the value is going to be 16 because we multiplied 2 for a 4 times. So this is going to be the corresponding output. Similarly, when you try to calculate the exponential value 2 to the power of a text, you can see it's going to be the value error. So and these particular scenarios are meant to understand, so what is the corresponding operator we have to use when you work with Excel. For a sum it is going to be plus, for a subtract it is going to be minus, for a multiply it is star, and divide it is backslash, and for a exponential we have to use cap. For a divide we have to use a forward slash. For a divide we have to use only the forward slash all the time, and for a exponential we have to use the cap. So these are all the different arithmetic operators we use it in Excel, and we can able to work with these particular scenarios and when to use, when not to use. So the negative scenarios we will get value as a error or the divisible by 0 as a error message. So two kinds of negative scenario we discussed over here. So I hope everyone understood the concept of arithmetic operators. Please confirm it in a chat window if you understand the concept of arithmetic operators. Please type yes in a chat window if you understand the scenario so that we can proceed further. Fine. So next set of operator is going to be very interesting concept here, comparison operator. So it's going to be very interesting scenarios. So comparison operator, we are going to use this particular symbols, right? So the output of this particular operator is going to be the logical value, either the true or a false. So it will throw the output as only two types. it will throw either true or it will throw either a false. Only the two types of outputs it will be displayed to the user. Let's see how it works. So unlike arithmetic operators, comparison operators are applicable not only to a number, it is applicable to a text as well. So there are 6 different kind of comparison operators available in Excel. So beginning with equal to, and the next one is greater than, and the next one is less than, and the fourth one is greater than or equal to, and fifth one is less than or equal to, and the last one is not equal to. So these are all the different comparison operators we are going to use it in Excel. So this is going to be the scenario table we are going to use. So number 1 will be here and number 2 will be here. We are going to map the output here. The first 7 set of scenarios are related to equal to only. The first 7 scenarios are going to be the operator equal to. You can look here. The number 1 is going to be 100 and the number 2 is going to be 100. We are going to check whether the two values are correct or not. Number 1 cell reference equal to number 2 cell reference. Press tab to come out of a cell. You can see here the output is going to be true because 100 is equal to 100. Similarly, 200 equal to 100. We all know that 200 is not equal to 100. So we are getting the output as a false. And the next set of output is going to be for a text. Excel is equal to Excel. Press tab. You can see that output is going to be true. Similarly, next scenario, Excel is equal to Excel. Press tab. You can see it. You can see here the output is going to be false. Why we are getting the output as false here? Let's go and check. If you look at the values, it is Excel. It is also Excel, but we are getting the output as false. Why? Press F2 and check. There is a space at the end. After Excel, there is a space added. But here in this particular text, there is no space added. If I delete this particular space, press tab, you can see that value is true now. If I press F2, if I insert a space and then press tab, you can see that value is false. So it means that even though the value is going to be same, if a cell value contains a space, it is also considered as one of the characters. So it will throw it as a false. So you can read the note here. In Excel, text is space sensitive. It is space sensitive. If you add a space at the beginning or a end or whatever the position it is, space is also considered as one of a character. Space is also considered as one of a character. So the text Excel with a space is not equal to the text Excel. So you will get a output as false. So I hope everyone understand the concept of text with a space. And the next concept here, scenario is text with a uppercase. So what is the uppercase? You can Excel, here also it is Excel only, but you can see that E as a uppercase. So let's check the value equal to Excel. Press tab. You can see true. Text with a uppercase. We passed text with a uppercase, even though you can see that the value is going to be true. Reason why? Check here. User can pass text in any case. Excel is not case sensitive. So it means that you can able to pass the text in a Excel in any case. You can pass it as a uppercase or a lower case or a combination of uppercase and a lower case. It will work fine all the time. So it means that it is not a case sensitive. Similarly, text with uppercase all. So you can see that the text Excel is in a uppercase and the Excel is in a lower case. Equal to text 2, you can see that output is going to be true. And the next scenario is for a different text. Excel equal to training. It is very clear that the text Excel is not equal to training, so you will get false as the output. And next set of scenario is going to be for a number. 100 is equal to, here you can see the scenario. What is the operator? Greater than operator. Greater than operator we are going to use. 100 is greater than or equal to 200. So that is the case. 100 greater than. 100 greater than 200. Press tab. You can see the value as false because 100 is not greater than 200. If you check for 100 is greater than 200, the logical test is false, so you will get the output as a false. The next scenario is 200 greater than 100. 200 greater than 100. You can see the value is true. 200 is greater than 100. Yes, it is correct. So you'll get the output as a true. And the next set of scenario is 100 less than 200. 100 less than symbol 200. Press tab. Yes, it is true. 100 is less than 200 only. And the next set of operator here, not equal to. Not equal to sign your first cell reference as Excel, not equal to. This is going to be the symbol for a not equal to signing. Press tab, you can see that output as true. So this way you can able to compare a number or a text using the logical operator for equal to, greater than, less than, not equal to. And the remaining two set of scenarios here, that is going to be the greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Say for example, we'll see one live scenario here. You will be given a particular set of a table with a name of an employee who performed that particular sales. The target sales is going to be 500. The target sales is going to be the 500. The actual sales is done by a John is going to be 400 only. So as a manager, you are going to check the performance of a employee. Here it is named as a John, whether he has done the sales greater than the target or below the target. Target sales. Target sales. Here the scenario is going to be greater than or equal. Greater than or equal. Always we have to use first greater than or less than symbol and then equal to sign. And then your actual sales done. You can see the output as true. We just compare target sales should be greater than or equal to the actual sales. Yes, 500 is greater than or equal to the 400. So we are getting the 2 as a output. Similarly, if I try to change it equal to greater than, right, we just change the operator. For a greater than or equal to, we just given equal to and then greater than symbol. Press tab. you can see that Microsoft Excel found an error in the formula you entered. Do you want to accept the correction proposed below? So you can see that corresponding cell reference greater than or equal to the next cell reference. It should be not equal to or a greater than. First greater than or less than symbol and then equal to sign. You can see that Excel will automatically change the formula that is provided by us. Similarly, less than or equal to 500, less than or equal to 400. Right? 500 is less than or equal to 400, we check. 500 is less than or equal to 400. No, it is not correct. So that's why you are getting false as a output. So this way you can able to use the comparison operators equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to. For all the comparison operators, you will get only true or false as a output. So you won't get any other output. And the two understandings here, in a Excel, when you dealing with a text, if you add any space at any of the position, that is also considered as a one of a character. So space is considered as a single character. So it is, text is space sensitive, and you can pass uppercase or a lowercase or a combination of any case in a Excel. So it means that we told that Excel is not a case sensitive. It is always only the space sensitive. It is not case sensitive. So that is the understanding here. So we are going to use the same kind of understanding in our all future scenarios. So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of comparison operator. 6 different kinds of comparison operators, and what is going to be the output and how we can use it in a Excel. So please confirm it in a chat window if you understand this particular concept of comparison operators. So the next set of scenarios are going to be the text concatenation or a text operator and then a mathematical operator or a function. So before we proceed to our next set of scenario, we can go for a 5 minutes break if you want. So shall we go for a short break, 5 minutes break? Yes, fine. So we'll go for a short 5 minutes break. So I'm going to pause the screen sharing and I'm going to mute now. We'll meet in another 5 minutes. Is everybody in? Okay, fine. So we are going for a next set of concept here, something called as text or a string concatenation. So the concatenation, we can do it via 2 ways. So one is using an operator called as AND symbol and then the function called as concatenation. So we can use the operator AND symbol or we can use the function concatenation. So anything is fine. We'll see how to use AND operator as well as the concatenation symbol. So we are going to use this particular table, this particular 3 numbers, and we are going to map all our outputs in this particular range, and these are all going to be the scenarios. So let's begin with the first scenario here. Text 1, Excel, we are going to concatenate with the text 2. So let's start with how to use the AND operator first. How to use the AND operator. AND symbol, your text 2. Press tab, you can see that the string is getting concatenated or strings are joined. So the scenario is going to be join two strings. Join two strings. We are done with joining two strings. How to join three strings? The first string AND symbol with your second string, again AND symbol, then your third string. Press tab, you can see that Excel training session 2. All these particular strings are now joined as a single string. And how do you get this? Via concatenation function. You can type the first few characters of this particular function name, concatenate. You can see that the corresponding function is displayed. You can select any of the function of your choice. So here we are going to use concatenate only. You can read the hint also here. Joins several text strings. Joins several text strings into a one string. So it means that you can able to pass n number of text strings. That text strings will be concatenated into a single string. Press tab. Always use tab to activate a function. You can see that it is asking for a first text 1, comma, text 2, comma, your text 3, and you can add n number of text based on your choice. Close bracket. Press tab to come out of a cell. So you can see that strings are getting concatenated and displayed to a user as a single string. So this way you can use AND operator or a concatenate function. The next scenario is going to be join a string with data in a different range or a column. How to do that? Equal to first string join with the second string, and you can refer to any of the string apart from this particular range, and you can select any other strings as well in the particular worksheet. You can able to refer to the cell address of any of the cell apart from the particular range also. It will consider. Press tab and you can see all the 4 different strings we provided that are concatenated and displayed to the user as a single string only. Similarly, you can see the next set of scenario, join multiple strings from a different sheets, different worksheets. So it is not limited. So whatever the string join we do, that is not limited only to the single sheet. We can able to join from multiple worksheets as well. How to do that? Excel concatenate AND operator, and then go to some other sheet of your choice. If I selected a comparison operators worksheet, you can see C12 AND symbol, and then what is the sheet name? We are going to get the data. Select any of the cell value. So we selected D7. So it means that it will concatenate now C12 AND operator with some other sheet name. Here it is going to be the comparison operator worksheet, and then within a comparison operator worksheet, what is the cell reference. So D7 we selected, and again and symbol we can go to some other worksheet as well, and you can select any of the value in this particular worksheet named as arithmetic operator. We just selected a cell value as A2. Press tab, you can see that it will navigate back to a original worksheet where you enter your formula, and you can see the corresponding string that are all concatenated using this particular operator called as AND. So you can look at the formula here. C12 AND operator, and then D7 is the cell value from a comparison operators worksheet. Again join one more string A2 where the corresponding worksheet name, that is arithmetic operators. So this way you can able to join multiple strings from a different worksheets. And the next scenario is going to be join multiple strings from different workbooks. So far we discussed about how to join a string from a single workbook with the same worksheet with a different range and a different worksheet and a different cell values. Now we are going to discuss how to join multiple strings from different workbooks. Equal to sign, first we'll get one value from this particular workbook. To understand this particular scenario, we'll create one workbook. We'll have some value in sheet 2. Now go back to your original workbook. Now we'll do a string joining. Cell reference of your current workbook and a current worksheet, and then select your new workbook. Select a corresponding sheet. You can look at the formula bar. You can see that C13 AND operator, and then second value is going to be what? This E6. From where this particular E6 we are going to refer? We are going to refer this E6 in a sheet 1 in a book named as book 1. Press tab. The moment when I press tab, you can see that it is navigated back to the original workbook where we enter the formula, and you can see the corresponding output. Excel is the first string, new workbook value is the second string, that are all joined now. But the second value we refer to some other workbook into some other worksheet. You can see all the references here. C13 and book 1 is a new workbook. You can see it in a square bracket, and then followed by what is the sheet name, and then followed by what is the corresponding cell reference. So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of how to join multiple strings from a different workbook, how to join multiple strings from different worksheets, and then how to join multiple strings from a data in a different range or a column. So next we are going to see the next scenario here, adding a space in between a string. Adding a space in between a string. Excel is the first string. We are going to insert a space in between a Excel and training. How to insert a space? Within a double quotes, we have to insert a space. So you can look at here, C14 is the cell reference, and symbol is to concatenate, and to insert a space, provide space in between a double quotes, So that will be considered as a separate string, and then add your second string. Press tab. You can see now. You can see now in a system that Excel space training. How we got that space in between? We know that space is also one of a character. Space is also one of a character. So we got the output as Excel space shining as the output. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of how to add a space in between a string. And the next scenario is going to be add a custom text in between a string. Add a custom text in between a string. How to do that? You can type whatever the content you want in a double quotes. So we just typed some custom text here as today is session 2 of what? Concatenate using unsymbol and provide the corresponding cell reference Excel training. Press tab to come out. You can see that today is session 2 of Excel training. So this way you can able to insert a custom text when you are doing a string joining. So whatever you pass within a double quotes, the same will be displayed to the user. It is a static or a constant value. So within a double quotes, whatever you pass it in a Excel, the same will be displayed to the user. So whatever you pass it in a double quotes, the same will be displayed to the user. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of adding a custom text between a string. And the last scenario here going to be add a symbols in between a string. First string and operator within a double quote you can add any of the special characters or symbols. And your second string. Press tab. You can see that. So whatever you pass, so whether it is a text or a space or a number or a alphanumeric character, whatever it is, whatever you pass it in a double quote, the same will be displayed to the user. So here we can replace by a underscore also. Underscore space, whatever it is. So whatever you provide within a double quote, the same will be displayed to the user. So we discussed about how to join two strings and how to join three strings or more, and how to join multiple strings from a different range or a column, and then discussed about how to join multiple strings from different worksheets and then from different workbooks, and how to insert a space in between a string, and then we discussed about how to insert a custom text in between a string, and then we discussed about how to insert a symbol in between a string. So these are all the different scenarios we discussed over here with the concept of joining a string using a AND operator. You can replace the AND operator by a function named as concatenation. You can see the example here. So nothing is changing. If you insert a function name, you can use the provide the input using a comma, and then provide your next input. If you are not using the function named as concatenate, you can go for a AND operator. So let's see one live example here. First name and second name are provided to you. You are asked to get what is the full name of an employee. First name and symbol, insert a space in between a first name and a last name, again a and symbol, the second name. Press tab. You can see that full name is displayed to the user with space in between. If you copy paste this particular formula to any kind of a records, it will work fine. If you are receiving a table like this, first name and the second name, has to calculate what is the full name. For the entire table, you can copy paste this particular formula that will calculate the full name of a employee. The same we can get using a concatenate function as well. First name, comma, within a double quotes, insert a space and then second name. Close the bracket, come out of a cell, you can see the same kind of a output. So this way you can able to play around with a string concatenation using an AND operator or a function named as concatenation. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of string concatenation. Please let me know if you have any doubts. So I am reading one query here. The second workbook could be in a same location as the source workbook. It doesn't mean that it should be in a same location, but it should be in a same Excel only. Whatever the workbook that is opened in a system, you can able to refer to the any of that particular workbook, but provided it should be in a same Excel only. If you create a new Excel, it won't work fine. So that is the understanding. You can refer to any of the cell reference in a opened workbook. So I hope, Sudeep, I answered your question. Fine. So everyone is clear about this particular concept of text concatenation. We'll proceed to our next set of scenario here, something called as mathematical functions. So we are going to discuss a new concept here, something called as mathematical functions. So we are going to discuss about this particular functions under a concept of mathematical functions here. So we are going to use this particular table input number 1 and number 2. We are going to map the output here. So first let's see something called as product. You can see what is the hint for this particular function. Multiplies all the numbers given as a argument. So it will multiply the numbers 12, 8, close bracket, press tab to come out of a cell. You can see what is going to be the output. So earlier we discussed about using an arithmetic operator how to multiply a numbers. So you can multiply number 1 with number 2 using an arithmetic operator, something called as multiply, or you can able to replace the same with the help of a mathematical function, something called as product. So anything is fine. You can see here, you can do a product not only for a single range, you can select some other range as well. By using a comma, you can able to pass n number of values. If you look at this particular function, you can see number 1 alone is mandate. Number 2, number 3 and goes on. You can see everything is in a square brackets only. You can see the value 2 and value 3. The number 2 and number 3 are given it as in a square brackets. So make a note that in a Excel function, wherever you see it within a square bracket, that are all called as optional arguments or optional inputs. So it means that it doesn't mean that we have to pass only the multiple value. Even if you pass only a single value like this, only one number, it will work fine. So it means that it won't multiply with any value. It will just throw you whatever the value that is provided. So I repeat, in a Excel, wherever you see it in a square brackets, that particular arguments or inputs are called as optional arguments or inputs. So I will just make a hint here. Arguments mentioned in square brackets are optional. So based on your scenario, that is going to be the optional. And the next mathematical function we are going to discuss here is something called as quotient. So this is very similar to the concept of divide by. Divide by. We use the operator called as forward slash. We use the operator called as forward slash when you discussed about arithmetic operators to get the divide by. How to get it via quotient? Returns the integer quotient of a division. You can make a note that it will do a division only. This quotient function will do a division only, but it will throw you only the integer portion. So I will tell you what is integer portion all about. So it is asking for the numerator value 500, comma. What is the denominator value 49? Close the bracket. Come out of a cell. You can see that the output is going to be 10 only. But if you do it using a arithmetic operator C9 divided by a D9, you can see the output is going to be what? You can see that output will be 10.20408. But you can see it when you use it via function, you can see only the integer value. You can see only the integer value is getting displayed. So it should be what? 10.20408. But you can see that output here is only 10. So that is the difference between this particular function quotient with we divide a number using a arithmetic operator. So why we are getting only the integer number here? Because the function says that returns the integer portion of a division only. It won't return the decimal values. It will return only the integer value. Say I try to refer to the cell reference, but it is not going out of this particular function. So in this case, how to provide the cell reference? Press F2 once. You can see that now it will go outside of a cell. You can provide the cell reference. So this way you can able to use a quotient mathematical function in Excel to calculate what is the output. What happens if I change the number 2 as a 0? You can see that divisible by error, 0 error. We discussed already that when you try to divide any value by 0, it becomes a infinity. The mathematical calculation. Though the same can be not returned by a Excel infinity. So it will throw you an error message stating that divisible by 0. And the next function here is square root. Returns the square root of a number. Here you can see how many inputs it is asking from a user. Only one input, that is called as a number. So only one input it is asking from a user. Refer to the corresponding number, close the bracket, press tab to come out of a cell. You can see that the square root of a particular value is 5. And the next set of mathematical function here is going to be power. So what is power all about? We discussed something called as exponential operator, 2 to the power of 3, that is 2 into 2 into 2. The same can be replaced with a function called as power. So if you are not familiar with the arithmetic operators, the same can be replaced with a mathematical functions available here. Returns the result of a number raised to a power. So press tab to activate a function. So first input is number 2, comma, power is 3. 2 to the power of 3. Press tab, you can see that 8 is going to be the output. 2 to the power of 3, 8 is going to be the output. And the next set of function is going to be int, it is integer. int rounds a number down to the nearest integer. Let's check how it works. I repeat, what is the function all about? Rounds a number down to the nearest integer. 2. Close the bracket, press tab to come out of a cell. You can see that output is going to be what? 2, because 2.9, when it rounds to the nearest integer, it becomes a 2 only. If I make it as 3.01, you can see the value is going to be 3. Even if I make it as 3.9, it will round off to a nearest integer, it is 3 only. So it is very clear that explicitly it is shown that whatever the value that is available after a decimal point, that will be ignored and displays the value to the user. Similarly, if I use integer function for a negative value, how it works? It in a system that you can see it in a system that minus 1.45, but as per our earlier understanding, it should return what? Minus 1 only, but here you can see that it returns a minus 2 because minus 1 comparing with a minus 2. What is the least value here? Minus 2 is the least value. So that's why he returns the least value as minus 2. So that is the difference between returning an integer value for a positive numbers and a negative numbers. So I hope everyone is clear about why we are getting 3 here and why we are getting minus 2 here. So comparing with the minus 1, minus 2 is the least value. So that's why it is returning minus 2. And the last 3 set of functions here, something called as round and then round down and round up. So all these 3 different functions are interrelated. So please concentrate here. We are going to use some certain rules. So we are going to use this particular rule type here. To understand this particular 3 functions. One is round and then round down and round up. So let's begin with a function named as a round. Rounds a number to a specified number of digits. I repeat, rounds a number to a specified number of digits. Press tab, so your number, comma, your number of digits. Let's go with 0 as a round up number so that we can understand better with the three different scenarios. Press tab, you can see what is the value here, 10.1. It rounds to a 10. So why? You can see the rule here. If value is greater than 0.5, will return a next value. Rule 2, if value is less than 0.5, will return the same value. So what is the decimal value here? It is 0.1. 0.1. So it falls in a rule 2. It is less than a 0.5. So it will return the same value. It is less than a 0.5. So it will return the same value. You can see here the value is 10 only. If I change it as 10.6, you can see here for a round function, you can see here the value is going to be what? 11. If it is 10.1, you can see the value is 10. If it is 10.6, you can see the value is 11 because 10.1, it falls under rule 2. Rule 2 is what? If a value is less than 0.5, will return a same value. Yes. 0.1 is less than a 0.5, so it returns the same value. And the second scenario here, 10.6. Dot 6 is greater than dot 5, so it will return the next value as 11. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of round function. So based on this particular two rules, greater than 0.5 or less than 0.5, it will return the value to the user. And similarly, the next set of function here is going to be round down. You can read the hint here for a round down. Rounds a number down. Rounds a number down towards a 0. (11.9) and the number of digits, let's go by 0 so that we can understand this better. Press tab. You can see it in a system now. It's going to be 11. Why it is going to be 11? Because round down, it is very clear that it will round to the nearest 0 value. So it means that if you type whatever it is, 11.9 or 11.8, you can see only 11 only as the output. 11.4 also 11 only. 11.1 also 11 only. So what is the hint? We'll read once again. Rounds a number down. Rounds a number down towards a 0. So it means that it will rounds a number down. Down. It means that whatever the decimal places, decimal point after your number, it will ignore. It will ignore and then return to the nearest whole number. Return to the nearest whole number. It's going to be 11 only. So let's see the round up. So here you will understand it better. Round up. Rounds a number up away from a 0. Press tab. You can see that output is going to be 11. So whether it is less than 0.5 or greater than 0.5, it will round up to the next value. 10.6 also 11 only. 10.2 also 11 only. If I type 11.1, you can see it as a 12. But in a round down, if I type it as 11.1, you can see that it will round to the whole number 11. If I use a round up, it will round up to the next whole number, that is 11 plus 1, it is 12. So this way you can able to play around with a round down and a round up using this particular rules. Greater than 0.5 will return a next value and less than 0.5 will return the same value for a round. For a round down and a round up, ignores the decimal places values, returns only the same number for a round down, and for a round up returns the next number. So that is the difference. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of mathematical functions, something called as product, quotient, square root, power, integer, round down and round up. So question from Sudeep, that is there a division function to give decimal value? So there is no predefined function available in Excel. So we can go for the operator. See, if I go with a D, there is no such a kind of function available here. So the only function available is quotient. So if you want, you can write your own function for a divide to provide the decimal values also. That it is not possible via the normal Excel. We have to understand how to build a macros. If you know how to create a macros, there you can able to create your own custom function with a name of divide. You can write your own function that can able to derive you with the decimal values also. So to understand that, we have to understand the macros. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of mathematical functions. So we'll start with a new set of functions, something called as a statistical functions. So we are done with cell referencing, we are done with arithmetic operators, comparison operators, text or a string concatenation, and then mathematical functions. So we'll start with the next set of functions called as statistical functions. So I am going to use this particular range only as a input to discuss about this particular functions. So we are going to discuss around 13 different functions that are related to a statistical operators or a statistical functions in a Excel. So I repeat, we are going to use this particular range only. We are going to use this particular range only to discuss about these particular 13 different functions. So begin with a sum function. Select the entire range, close the bracket, come out of a cell. You can see that all the values in this particular range, sales amount or calculated what is the total sum with a Excel function named as a sum. The moment when I the moment when I select the particular range, you can see the status bar in my system that what is going to be the average and what is going to be the count and what is going to be the numerical count and what is the minimum value and what is the maximum value and what is the total sum. So this will get differ from system to system how the status bars are displayed. You can give a right click. You can see all the options here. If I uncheck the numerical value, if I uncheck the minimum value, if I uncheck the maximum value, you can see that if I come out, that particular options are not displayed here. So based on your selection, right click, whatever you want, you can select. Right? So you can select and unselect at any time. So based on your selection, you can see that whenever you select some range, the corresponding outputs will be displayed to the user in a status bar. Similarly, sum function with a selective sum, how to do that? Instead of selecting the entire range, select some range only. Select some group of cells and come down. Select some other cells in a range, comma. Again select some range. Close the bracket, press tab to come out of a cell. So this way you can able to understand how to do a sum function, summation for a selective cells in a range. Instead of going for selecting the complete range, we can able to select only the particular group of cells in a range using a comma as a separator. You can pass n number of ranges to this particular function by providing a comma and keep adding ranges. And the next function is going to be the count function. You can read the hint. Count the number of cells in a range that contain a numbers. I repeat, count the number of cells in a range that contain a number. Press tab. Select the range, close the bracket, press tab to come out of a cell. So what count function will do for us? Counts only a number, ignores text and a blank. So in a particular range, in a cell, Excel will hold only a 3 different kind of values. Either the cell value may be a number or a text or a blank. Only the 3 different kinds of inputs we can pass it into a particular cell in a Excel. So if I use this particular function called as a count, it will throw you what is the count of numbers only. It won't throw you what is the count of a text and a blank. So it means that in this particular range, cells amount, you can see that 11 numbers are available. So that's why you are getting count as 11. The next function is going to be count A. Count A. Count the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So it will ignore the empty value. So it will consider all the values other than empty. It means that it will consider numbers as well as it will consider the text. Press tab now. Select the entire range, close the bracket, press tab to come out of a cell. You can see that the count is going to be 12. Earlier it was 11 only, because you can see that one text is available in this particular range. So 11 numbers plus one text. the output is going to be 12 here. And the next set of function is going to be count blank. Close the bracket, press tab to come out of a cell. So you can see that the output is going to be 1 because counts the number of blank cells in a range, ignores text and the number. So it means that it will count only how many blanks are available. It will count only the how many blanks are available. So in this particular range, you can check that only 1 blanks are available. So you are getting the output as 1. So this is the 3 different functions. Count will get you what is the count of numbers only. Count A will get you what is the count of numbers as well as a text. And a count blank will get you what is the count of blanks only. And the next set of scenario here, something called as overall count. So what do you mean by overall count? Count all cells in a range, all cell values. So what are the values we have to consider here? We have to consider text, we have to consider number, and we have to consider blanks as well. We have to consider text, we have to consider number, we have to consider blanks as well. We have to consider everything now. How to get the overall count? So there is no predefined function in Excel to calculate. I repeat, there is no predefined function in Excel that is available to calculate the overall count. I mean, to get the count of a text, number, and a blanks using a single function. So that particular option is not available in Excel. So in this case, how to calculate the overall count? We know that count A function will throw you what is the count of number and what is the count of a text. So out of three values we got 2 using a count A. If you use a count blank function, you will get the count of a blank. So by using these 2 functions, count A and then a count blank, you can able to get the count of numbers, count of text, and then count of blanks as well. Count A. Select the entire range, close the bracket, plus count blank. Right? So by using a count A function with the count blank function, you can able to get the overall count. You can see the count is going to be 13. Number is 11, text is 1, and the blank is 1. So 11 plus 1 plus 1. Count A function 12 and count blank function 1. So using a count A function with a count blank function, you can able to get what is the overall count. And similarly, the next derived function is going to be count of text only. So there is no predefined function available in Excel to get only the count of text only. So there is no predefined function available. So we have to go for a derived function. We have to go for a derived function. We know that count A will get you the count of number and the text. And count will get you the count of a number. If we separate number and text with a number, we will get only the count of a text. Count A. Refer to the corresponding cell reference. minus count function. Close the bracket, press tab to come out. You will get what is the count of text only. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular 5 sets of functions. Count function, and then count a function, and then count blank function, and how to derive the overall count, and how to derive the count of text only. So I given you the hint for all the functions here as well. So why we have to use the combination of 2 functions, and what are the functions we have to use to get the corresponding output as well. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of count function with 5 different scenarios. So let's see the next 3 set of functions, something called as average, and then average A, and then overall average. Average function. Close the bracket, come out of a cell, you can get what is the output of an average function. So how it works internally? It doesn't consider text and blanks. It doesn't consider text and blanks. How it works? How to calculate an average? How to calculate an average? Sum is going to be in a numerator, and the count is going to be in a denominator. So this is going to be the concept here for an average. Average, sum in a numerator and the count is in a denominator. So we'll calculate the average manually. Sum. This is going to be the output of a sum divided by count in a average in a denominator. So what is the count? What is the count? Average function uses only the numbers in a denominator. It will consider only the numbers. You can see the hint here. Average function does not consider text and blanks. Average function does not consider text and blanks in a denominator. So it will consider only the numbers. So I just refer to the count function. You can see the output as 2727. Here also it is 2727. If you want to show the decimal places, if you just click on a decimal places here under a number command set, you can see decimal place will get increased. Right? So this way you can able to get the average function output. You can see something called as average A. So wherever you see A, even in a count A, here it is average A. It means that it will consider text also. It will consider text also in a denominator here. Close bracket, press tab to come out of a cell. We got the output as 2500. How we got 2500 as the output? Let's see. Sum function divided by the count. We told that it will consider numbers as well as the text. So the count of numbers as well as the text is going to be count A function. So 2500 is the output. The same is displayed to the user. So the average function uses only the numbers in a denominator as a count. Average A function uses numbers as well as a text in a denominator. And the next one is overall average. How to calculate the overall average? So there is no predefined function available in Excel to calculate the overall average. So we have to go for a derived function. How to get the overall average? Your sum function divided by the overall count. Overall count in the sense I want to consider numbers, I want to consider text, I want to consider blanks as well. So refer to the overall count. Press tab, you can see what is going to be the overall average. So the hint is sum divided by overall count, that is count A plus a count blank. So this way you can able to derive a function using some other function. So I hope everyone is clear about average function, average A function, and then overall average. So let's see a last three scenarios for the day here. Max min functions. Max function will throw you what is the maximum value. What is the maximum value in this particular range? So it is clear that 6000 is going to be the maximum value. Similarly, we are going to calculate what is going to be the minimum value. So 500 is the minimum value in that particular range of a cell. And the next one is something called as min A. As I told earlier, wherever the function ends with a A, it will consider text also. So it will look for what is the minimum value in this particular range by considering text also. You can see that the output is going to be 0 because this particular range contains a text. Internally it will assign value 0 to a text. So 0 is going to be the minimum value. Assigns value of a text as 0. So that's why when we try to calculate a minimum value by considering a text, we are getting 0 as the output. So these are all the statistical functions we discussed here. 13 different scenarios discussed. One is set of sum functions, and then we discussed about 5 different set of count functions, and we discussed about 3 different set of average functions, and discussed about 3 different functions related to max and min. I hope everyone is clear about this particular 13 scenarios discussed over here. So we'll stop for the day. We'll stop by this particular topic. So we are planned for cell reference, arithmetic operator, comparison operator, text concatenation, and then mathematical functions. So additionally, we cover the statistical functions today here. So please confirm it in a chat window that if you understand all the scenarios we discussed today here. If you have any doubts, please let me know. We can discuss. So we are done with till statistical functions as part of session 2. So the next session we are going to discuss about count if and count if yes, sum if and sum if yes, and then average if and average if yes, and median, and then condition formatting type 1. So that is going to be the plan for session 3. So is everybody clear about all the concepts we discussed today? Please confirm it in a chat window. So others, fine. So thanks for your confirmation. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to share this particular workbook to you all right away. You can give a try with all the scenario we discussed today, and I will ask the team to resend you the recorded link for session 1, and session 2 also you will get soon. So if you are not received this workbook, or if you are unable to use that particular recorded link, please drop an email to a Manipal team. Saurav, I'm telling the same process here. So I will ask a team to share you the recorded link as well as the workbook what we use here. If you are not received in another 2 days of a time, so it means that if you are not received by tomorrow evening maximum time, you can drop an email to a Manipal support team. You could have received who is going to be the POC for this particular Advanced Excel Training 2010. You can drop an email to them stating that you are not received a particular workbook or the record link for a particular session. So they will help you to get the same. So don't worry. So you will receive this particular workbook as well as a recorded link for a sure. So we are done for the day. So I am going to stop the